Good afternoon, everyone. It's Tambekwa again from the CFR. As you can see here, we have a potentiometer connected to an LED. So, let me explain this. Here, it's connected to pin number 9. Comes through here, and then it goes through this line here. After that, it goes through this resistor. This resistor is a 220 ohm resistor, very specific for this build. This build will not work if you use anything above or below a 220 ohm resistor. Please use a 220 ohm resistor. So now it goes through the resistor and then it comes into the neutral port. I'm using this line for the neutral port. Then I'm using this red line as the power port. As you can see here, is connected to the VIN. This is the neutral or ground port. We have the potentiometer here. Now from the back, as you can see here, this black wire is our neutral wire. It is on the right side from the back of the potentiometer. The middle port is what we put into our analog pin here. These analog pins are actual analog pins, and unlike the PWM pins, do not mimic analog functions and actually are analog pins. And then here we have this connected to the 5-volt pin. So now, as you can see here, if we are to twist this, sorry for the technical difficulty there. I accidentally moved the ground pin into VIN. So now, as you can see here, we're using an analog function here. So now we can increase the brightness. So now basically what's going on here is, here's the code. So we first start off with our initialization code. Const int red equals to 9, const int analog pin equals to A5. We make an input value and then we make an output value. Here in the void setup, for analog functions and for analog pins, you do not need to initialize it within the void setup. Everything is done here in the void loop. So as you can see here, we have void loop, input value, analog read, analog pin, serial print, input, and then serial print input value. So now output value equals to map input value 0. So now this number here is interesting. Basically the input value we're going to map on into the output value to help it change. So now what the map function does is, this first part of the map function maps the input value from 0 to 1023, which is the range of values that analog functions can take up. And now with PWM, the range of values is 0 till 255. So now basically we're ranging the input value from 0 to 123, and then after that the map function maps that into the PWM pin of the LED. So basically the map function is basically used to map on to change the analog component, which is the potentiometer, to work with the LED, which is a digital component. So now as you can see here, here's the output. We have analog write, LED, and then we have this serial print output value, and then analog write, read output value, a delay of 1000. And now to better visualize what's actually going on here, we can look at the serial plotter. So as you can see here, it's a bit janky right now. Let me delete what's going on and then let me restart it. So now the output value is 0, but as we increase it, you can see here that the value will change there, and then here it will also change. And now let's get the serial monitor, the serial plotter out. You know what, I'll show you guys this on another video. But anyways, that's what we have for today. Alright, this next video is for toggle button. Here's the code. I'll send a zip folder with all of the code that we'll be using in the society later on. For now, look at this. As you can see here, basically here, there's no polarity on this button thing. Basically on the bottom side of it, you have this resistor. This one should have a high resistance. This is a 15 kilo ohm resistor. It goes here into the ground terminal, and then it goes into the ground of the Arduino. This here on the upper side on the left goes into the 5-volt pin, and then here, very important, this one goes into a digital pin. I put it in digital pin 7. For the LED, I put it in digital pin 8, and I grounded it. Remember, 220 ohm resistor. So now this one is a toggle button. It's the same configuration for push button, but I'll show you the code later for that one. Same configuration as the last video, different code. Okay, I didn't show it working. This is a button. It's literally just the same code for a button. Buttons work as LEDs do. So any code that you wrote for an LED, you can replace a button with it in the same position and it will work exactly the same. You could also use this as Morse code. This is the beta version of this thing, as you can see here. So anyways, here some of the parameters. Look at this code. It will be in the next file update. You can use this too. There's a buzzer connected here. Yeah, no, these diagrams I'll start sending them, especially for this one. This one I'll send the full diagram so that you guys can do it on the Tinkercad.